Tyler Ninja Blevins became the first esport athlete to appear on ESPN the magazine's front cover, a major milestone for competitive gaming. With the rise of Fortnite and esporting competitions like the 2K League, we are delighted to have with us Sophie Zavada and the new Dean of Elon School Communications, Dr. Rochelle Ford. Thank you both for joining us. We're going to break down the rise in competitive gaming and where it can go from here. So what I want to know is, can gaming take center stage on television in the next 10 or so years?
Well, I think it can. I think that esports is really thriving in terms of popularity among Gen Z, among millennials, and even some Gen Xers are getting into the game as well. And it's a global phenomena. And so if you even look at, this summer, just the one of the tournaments that was held up in the Barclays Center, it was on ESPN. Like I was sitting in a restaurant, a jazz club of all things in Atlanta, and on ESPN Live was this tournament. And so I think that it is going to continue to grow in popularity, and particularly as a lot of the traditional sports teams, the NFL and the NBA and what have you, are owning their own teams. I think it's only going to explode even more.
Well, I definitely agree that it is huge in popularity right now, but I think a large reason it's been so popular is because it's, it came to be on this internet platform, and these streaming platforms have really been able to foster this community where gamers and viewers are able to interact with each other. And I think because of that, it's really become immensely popular and unique. And I think when you go and you put it on television, it sort of takes away that factor that really leads to why it is so popular and why it has been so sustainable. And I think if you were to put it on TV, you'd really lose that. So I definitely think it can be on TV, but personally, I wouldn't want to see it go there.
I love the interactive thing. It's kind of become what online gaming and online watching is. So yeah. I want to ask you, we've seen the 2K League, which is pretty recent. They just finished their first season. What's the next sport that's going to have their next kind of like online video game league? Could it be FIFA, Madden? What do you think?
Well, I personally think it would be FIFA. I think with soccer being such a popular sport, it really opens up the opportunity for this professional league to go beyond the US and really hit Europe, different areas, and have sort of teams compete across national borders. And I think that would be something that's fascinating and definitely something that would increase the popularity of esports, especially into Europe.
So I think that the global nature of I'm going to say it is football for the rest of the world. FIFA is, soccer, yes, but sure. Right. So soccer, I think that you're right. It would have that global appeal because esports already is a global phenomena, and so exactly. Eastern Europeans are into it. You have so many of the Koreans and other Asian countries are into it. Then you have the North America, South. I mean, it is already a global thing, and so if you take another global pastime like football or soccer. Absolutely, I think that it's very fruitful for opportunity.
And obviously when was a big fan base for the sport, obviously the video games come with that, and that's why they've been so popular, I think. All right, we're going to wrap up with this. How long do you guys think until esports is mentioned in the same conversation as the major four sports like baseball, basketball, hockey, and football? Is that something we're going to see soon?
I think so. I think as it was said, like the League of Legends championship competition a few years ago had an immense viewership. The industry's like $900 million, I think is projected to be by the end of like 2018. Like that's incredible. I think because of the amount of money, the amount of popularity that's around this, I definitely think that given time it will, especially as it's seen as almost a more sustainable sport than the ones such as like football and hockey that are very prone to injury. I think it definitely could enter there.
So I think that there's a space for both. It's a both and proposition. Yeah. It's not an either or. I think that there are among certain populations, it already is a both and proposition.
Sure, yeah.
And so like even my son, he loves playing baseball and getting out there with his friends and doing that, but then he's also a really big esports fan and has his own teams and leagues and things that he follows, and when he's watching television, he's more likely to watch an esports tournament than he is to watch like a baseball game on television. He's more likely to play baseball, but he's more likely to watch esports. So I think it's a both and proposition, and particularly as esports, as they get into a lot of different types of games and they begin to open up things that didn't have the platforms before, that they're able to become competitive, it'll be an exciting proposition.
Definitely.
So we've talked about 2K, FIFA, a bit about Fortnite. I want to know from you guys, what is your favorite video game to play, to watch in general? Either one.
I'm going to be honest, I struggle to even turn on an Xbox. But I really do enjoy, I think, watching the sports ones, since I do really enjoy sports in general, watching them play and watching these players both interact on the court but also at their consoles it's really fascinating, and it's kind of cool to see how they can be teammates both on the court there and, you know, sort of off in the personal setting.
So the one that I've watched the most has been actually Super Smash Brothers.
Okay, with a throwback.
And so, well, it is a throwback, and actually Nintendo is coming out with a way to make it more enjoyable to watch from the competitive landscape, and that's the one that my son has played competitively and what have you. But I'm learning the other one, so the whole faculty in the school communications was required to play Fortnite, and I thought that it was going to be a very short tournament, and there's some people who were going more than 20 minutes, and I was like, we need to move on to our next thing, and they were actually really good. So, but I would have to say Super Smash is the one that I've seen the most, so I'd probably have to say the one I like the most, but I have lived more than 5 minutes now on Fortnite.
Gaming world is booming. Super exciting to see where it goes. Thank you guys both for coming on the show. That's all the time we have for this block. Again, another thank you to Dr. Ford for joining us, obviously Sophie for joining us on this special gaming block. Thank you guys both. Up next, Andrew and I will be discussing which athletes have donned the best costumes for Halloween. Don't be afraid to stick around.